Here, and this is not all of my friends. Many of them are at home, but these are my special friends who wanted to be, and I wanted them to be a part of my special anniversary show. So in preparing for a big anniversary show, there's a lot of people, right, that you want to invite. There are a lot of people that you could only dream of being a part of a 25th anniversary show. So I got a call a couple of weeks ago, and they said, how would you like to have Cher be a part of your anniversary show? I couldn't believe what I was hearing at first, and I go, are you kidding me? Of course! I grew up watching Sonny and Cher. I have followed her career. I have so many thoughts about Cher, and they are all amazing, and I know that you do as well. She captures all that we are as women in the very best way. And when you think of Cher, she is a worldwide superstar for over 5 decades. She is an Oscar, Emmy, Grammy, 3 times Golden Globe award-winning performer, Kennedy Center honoree. She is the only female to have had a #1 song in 6 decades, including multi-platinum hits like Believe, If I Can Turn Back Time, and scores more. Her iconic film career includes classics like Mask, that I know you love, Silkwood, Witches of Eastwood, which is one of my favorites, and of course, her unforgettable Oscar-winning performance in Moonstruck. In celebration of Cher's many facets of her incredible journey comes a collection of signature fragrances that we are going to talk about tonight, about her storied career and illustrations of her decades of being a fashion icon, an entertainer, and really globally giving us a chance to be our best selves. And I couldn't be happier to welcome you into the show, Cher. It is such an honor, and it's so nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hello, Cher. I am so thrilled to feature your fragrances, and you look beautiful. I love your outfit. That's gorgeous.
I know, isn't it fabulous?
Yes, indeed. I love that check print. It's fabulous. So I want to dive in quickly, Cher, because we have your 4-piece Decades Eau de Parfum set that everybody's been loving, and I'd like to show it to everyone at home so that we can talk about what this is and give everybody a chance to get this at home. So here's what comes along with this offer. You are going to get the couture, the 60s couture, 70s, you have your 80s, and you also have the 90s in the specialty gift box. These are, of course, 4 different fragrances that all capture something unique and special. Each bottle, by the way, individually sells for close to $30. So the value that we get to share with all of you at home tonight obviously is pretty incredible, because one sells for $30, you actually get to get all 4 in this specialty box for $60. We offer FlexPay, we also offer the holiday return policy, but Cher, I'd love to get into this. I was preparing for the show, and I read that you actually recently, on another fragrance that you launched at HSN, won the Fifi Awards. So I want to start there for a moment, because the Fifi Awards is like winning the Oscars in fragrances.
I didn't hear that last part.
The Fifi Award is like winning the Oscars in fragrances. It's the highest award.
It is.
And your most recent fragrance that you launched recently won that.
You know, I didn't expect to win that. I mean, I didn't think that, I don't know, I just didn't think that I would have a chance to win it. I didn't really even think about it. You know what I mean? It's like the Academy Award, I was like, I didn't have a speech prepared for that either. So it was, you know, it's like, you don't expect to win awards all the time. I mean, you're given them once you're old. Everybody wants to give you an award, you know. So, but, you know, everybody wants awards. I want awards, but it was a special one.
Well, I think what so many people know about you is that you are dedicated, and I read that it took you years and years to come up with that award-winning fragrance, and I love that this is something that's new, that is designed to kind of capture the decades. So let's go on a journey, and let's start in the 60s with the 60s couture fragrance, and I'd love for us to put up the notes on this one because this has top notes of bergamot and pink pepper and middle notes of violet and rose and bottom notes of amber and patchouli. What did you want to evoke from the 60s?
Well, you know, the 60s was a time when, like, Sunny and I really weren't trying to do this. The way we dressed was, those were our daytime clothes, you know? We were wanting to express ourselves, and I think it was kind of boiling over. It was boiling under, you know? People were, everyone in my generation at that time, we were looking to express who we were and who we wanted to be. You know, I felt bad for women mostly because, you know, they had to get their hair cut at a certain age. My friend Paulette and I were going, how old do we have to be when we get our hair cut? I don't ever want to cut my hair. So, but women I feel that women wanted to be free too. Even the older ones, they just didn't know.
Yes.
And so it was a great time of like kicking out the doors and saying, you know, here we are. But it wasn't like we were trying to make people frightened or trying to make people uncomfortable. We just wanted them to see who we were, and it didn't work right in the beginning at all. But then we went to England, and when we got to England, everybody loved us so much, and they accepted who we were, what we were trying to do, and they had already done it with the Beatles and all that. But we were a little bit more different looking, and so. But I remember that time. So for me, the '60s represents the push, like pushing out the windows, pushing out the doors, you know, and being able to be who you wanted to be. And I didn't even know, you know. I had two friends, Bridget and Colleen. We made all of our clothes. Sonny was very brave, and he wore whatever we put on him. So it was just this time of anticipation.
I love it. I remember, you know, looking back at some of the photographs and especially the clothes that you wore during that time. And the 60s fragrance, by the way, is so terrific. By the way, these are full sizes. Each of these bottles would normally cost $30 each, but you get all of them in this special collection. So don't wait. I understand this is very popular. We're encouraging you to shop, but we're going to move into the 70s now. And in the 70s couture fragrance, we have top notes of cardamom, and we have middle notes of saffron and suede, and the bottom notes of musk. So this is a really interesting combination. This is kind of disco era. Take us back to the 70s and what you wanted to evoke in the 70s couture.
Well, you know, we started Sonny and Cher show in the 70s.
That's right.
And yeah, and I still was kind of pushing it because I met Bob Mackie, and he and I just totally agreed on how it would be fun to dress, you know. And at that point, I went in a totally different way, you know. And without Bob, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But it was really glamour and fun. You know, I think if you can't be having fun, it's none of it's worth it, you know. But we did. And also, I got to be a girl, you know. I mean, in the 60s, a lot of people weren't sure what I was, you know. They weren't sure what Sonny was. They weren't sure what I was. But in the 70s, you sure knew that I was a girl.
Yes, indeed. I was reading, and I remember being a little girl. I was talking to my sister about this year, and I remember being a little girl. I grew up in Miami, and I just remember being in front of the television every Saturday night. I want you to know, little girls and little boys everywhere, we would sit there and watch you. You were the most beautiful thing. I think everybody, I mean, that show took off. Nobody ever expected it, and just your outfits and your beautiful, long, silky black hair. Just, I mean, it was such an incredible time. And you've been, over all of these decades, you have been so relevant and important. How does that make you feel that you transcend time and you're always of the moment, yet always the leader in that same space, which I think is really incredible.
Well, I'm not so sure about. Look, I know that people like me. I'm likable. But I know that people like me, and I see all the young girls. Like I have young girls who are in show business who are starting out, and I talk to them and give them some of the things I went through, because people don't remember, but I had like big ups and big downs, and every time I came back, people said, "Oh, she reinvented herself," but I was still the same person. But it also perfume. I have to tell you something, and this is the truth. I don't feel like I'm dressed to go out unless I have my perfume on. I put my perfume on all the time. I don't care. When I wake up, I just like it. I like it. Makes you feel special. I think perfume makes you feel special. And you could have on a $5,000 dress or a $10,000 dress, but that's the thing that like kicks it off. That's how you can go out of the door.
Yeah, I was thinking it back. I was reading just some articles, and one of the articles talked about what a big stink it was back when you were on Sonny and Cher and you wanted to show your navel. And like, it's like this huge, I think about like now and I'm like, well, that's not a big deal. But back then it was like a big deal that you wanted to do that.
Well, I didn't really want to do it, Marlo. It's just that Bob did it, and I didn't really think there was anything wrong with it. So I was just excited because the dress was so beautiful. And then they said, even I Dream of Jeannie, they just put a thing over her belly button, and that seemed ridiculous. And they didn't want me to do it, but then all of a sudden, we were getting women and different viewers that would just turn in to see what I was wearing. So also they didn't really want me to spend so much money on costumes. I don't know how much they cost, but whatever. So at that time, I just was having a good time. I had no idea that we were doing anything crazy. But also, we were young on TV, and most of the other people in shows, they weren't as kind of young and they weren't as daring.
I get it.
But that had to do with our writers and our director and our producers. And I just thought of it as a game. I really thought of it as a game. I just did.
Well, we're seeing some of the beautiful pieces that Bob Mackie designed for you. And hopefully, guys, if we have more of those stored, I'd love to share them. And I read that you love them all. You love them all, and that there wasn't really a favorite. You look so beautiful. I remember this particular one, and we're going to show a few of them. And we actually just want to show everyone that this is actually the box that you're getting. So this is the presentation. So that's the front of the box. And we have a photograph of Cher in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And then I'm going to turn it around on the back so that you can actually see what the back looks like as well. So you'll get all the fragrances. These are the full sizes. Each of these sell individually for $30, but we're gonna give you the entire set. It's a $120 value. So there's a picture of the 60s, and here comes the 70s that we just talked about. That's the 70s couture fragrance. And here's the 80s, and we're gonna dive into the 80s now, Cher. There's the 80s, and I can see that wonderful hairdo and the headdress and the beautiful costume that you have on there. And in the 80s, in this fragrance, the top note is Mandarin. And the middle notes are gardenia, a little orange blossom, but the bottom notes get very interesting because the bottom notes are based in Tonka Bean and Cashmere. So very unexpected there with some of the notes at the base, Cher.
You know what? The strange thing about making a scent is that things that you think would be fabulous need to be toned down by things you wouldn't think that would be fabulous at all. It's like, why do you want to have that in there? But, this is what I learned, is that you have to kind of mix and match, and something will just spark one of the flavors, and it changes everything. And I was really impossible. Thank God Teo was, sweet and didn't, he was calm, and I go, okay, this is not working, this is not working, this is not working. I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, I like that. Can we go in that direction? But also, when you don't know, like, I didn't really know about this business. I had a little, turn on it back in the 80s, but I just, it was hard to be working. Like, I was using one language and Teo was using another language, and we kind of figured out how to use both of our languages to mean the same thing. And so it was, but it was fun. It was just I always start things by saying, oh, this will be fun. And sometimes it's not, but this happened to be one that was. And so we just started playing around, and then he would say something and he would send something. And I mean, he was the most patient man in the world. And I would just go, it's not quite right, or I don't think I don't know what I want, but something is missing and I can't tell you what it is. And so, but I think we worked really hard. I mean, we killed ourselves, truthfully. And because I wanted to make something for women that was really interesting, that was really made them feel special. And I don't know, that's what I wanted for them.
Well, I think they're all beautiful. I love a collection of 4, because depending on, where we're going and, how we feel that day. Most of us don't own one pair of shoes or one handbag or one dress, that we have this beautiful array to select from. And I also love the opportunity of maybe kind of blending your own, finding maybe 2 of them and blending them together, because they all play so beautifully together.
You can put one on and then then layer it with another one. You have to figure it out first, though, because they won't all go with another, because they're specific. They're quite specific. But be daring.
Why not? Why not?
What is it going to hurt to be daring?
Well, I love that you are here with us live. I know a lot of us are waiting, have been waiting for this moment of being able to get this at home. I do want to take an opportunity for those of you, especially if you're new to shopping with us at HSN, so that you know the wherewithal of kind of the mechanics of how it works here. So you just give us a call. You can call our toll-free 800 number. We actually have a QR code. A lot of you are familiar with that, where you just take your cell phone out, whether it's an Android phone or an Apple phone, and you just kind of open the photo app, and this item will pop up. Or you can go onto our website at hsn.com, and since we are talking holiday season, this is a wonderful way for you to be able to shop holiday. We all know women and men who love fragrances. What a great gift. And we give you 3 months to make a final decision and get a full refund. Cher is only with us today, so if you'd love to grab it, don't wait. I want to show you close to 1,000 have already been picked up, so these are going great. This is her Decades collection, and if you have followed the career of Cher, or perhaps you're getting to know her for the very first time and you're tuning in, you say, who's that beautiful lady? Well, she has had a storied career. Can we show the video montage once again, if we can? Because I'd love for those of you who would love to say a quick hello to join our show, but she's been a worldwide superstar for almost 5 decades, and she is an Oscar, Emmy, Grammy award winner, and so much more. And we love all of the films that Cher has been a part of, as we've talked about a little bit earlier, from Mask to more. And to be able to have a multi-platinum recording artist here as a part of our big holiday and anniversary event, I think is a really great chance for you to be able to really share, maybe see another side of you, to see what you have selected. And I think one of the things that I read about you is you want people, when they're wearing this, to feel a certain way. Yes, it's about smelling good, but it's more about how you feel once you're wearing a really beautiful fragrance. And it does change, it kind of elevates you, makes you a little bit happier, allows you to be able to move through the world, I think, a lot kinder and a little bit more confident when you're wearing a beautiful fragrance.
I honestly feel that, for me, as I said, I feel before I go out, this is the thing that's going to make everything work. When I put on a scent, it makes me go, it just, when you put on perfume, you just kind of go like that.
Yes.
And then I think it also gives you a little bit more, you can be a little bit more daring.
I like that.
I'm
I
pretty
like
daring
that.
anyway, but whatever.
Well, speaking of daring, let's go into the denim grunge pop era of the 90s. And this is the 90s couture. And I do want to remind everyone that as we're showing you each and every bottle, these are full sizes and you get them all. So you don't have to choose. But we wanted to really review each and every one of them. Now, this is your 90s couture. And this fragrance has top notes of peach nectar, very succulent at the very top here, bergamot. The middle notes are jasmine and sambac. And the bottom notes are going to be sandalwood and a little vanilla bourbon. They're at the base notes of this one. I'm going to take the top off and just spray a little bit of this one. Take us to the 90s, Cher.
Well, I had a big hit in the 90s, and so it kind of changed my career. It kind of changed music as we know it with Believe.
Yes.
'Cause we did a thing with a pitch machine. You won't know that, but exactly. A pitch machine is sometimes, if an artist doesn't make a note exactly, you can pitch their vocal up a little bit. But when we were doing Believe, the verse was so horrible and I couldn't do it better. And my producer kept saying, do it better, do it better, do it better. And I went, dude, if you want it better, get someone else to do it. So then he came in the next day and he said, Cher, I've been playing with this thing and I've never heard it before, but I think I've created this sound. And so, and it became Believe and people are still using it today. But it was about, I was in my heyday for my singing, you know.
Yes.
I grew then, and you know, I'm going to go back to perfume for a second because I think that sometimes it also makes you feel less afraid, you know, able to be more daring. I don't know. It's like, it means so much to me and I don't know what it means to everybody else, but it's just always been something. When I was little, I wanted to steal my mother's perfume, but we were poor and I knew that she would have killed me. And then I got a friend of mine, she had a perfume called Taboo, and I loved it because it was deep and dark and sensual, and you know, and that's what I was going for at, I don't know, 12. And so then my mom said, Cher, good girls don't wear that perfume.
Oh.
And I thought, great, I'm wearing it.
I love that. I love that. All of the perfumes are different, but they're really all really beautiful. I will say this, anyone who is placing an order and getting this at home, I'm confident that you will love them. I mean, they're all unique, but they're all really pretty. And they're not this pow, in-your-face, overwhelming fragrance. So it's, if you're wearing them to an office where you're working in close quarters with someone, or you're at a place of worship and you're sitting maybe on a church bench with someone where it won't overwhelm. If anything, I think they'll lean in a little bit. Because they'll pique their curiosity. They're really gorgeous. If you love your fragrances and you'd love to maybe give this collection to someone as a gift, come on in. Come on in, have fun. I'm Marlo. Of course, Cher needs no introduction. We're celebrating my 25th anniversary tonight at HSN, and it is such fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's been quite the journey, Cher, but no journey quite like yours. To be able to have, you know, #1 songs over 6 decades. There's no one quite like you. I was reading just about some of your accomplishments, and I want to talk about fashion for a moment because I saw this fabulous picture of you on Instagram. You were recently, I believe it's pronounced Balmain runway show.
Yes, it
Tell
was.
us a little bit about that because you looked so hot and sexy. I love the shoes you wore. Talk to us a little bit about that and why that was so much fun for you.
Well, you know what, Olivier, they asked for me to do this little kind of machine woman, you know? Android, you know, whatever. So we shot that, and I was wearing that outfit so that they could, you know, put all of the metal and all of the things that they wanted to make the look into, which was kind of, you know, half machine, half woman. And that was really great. It was really great. And so then Olivier called and asked me if I would go out when I go to Paris. And I thought, well, I don't know. And then my friends were saying, come on, it's going to be so much fun and we're going to have a great time. And all they wanted me to do was go out on the runway. But what I didn't understand was there were like 20,000 people. It was it was a stadium. But I mean, I got out there and was like, okay, I'm ready for this. And then they said, only go so far, but I wasn't thinking. So Olivier came out and we just ran the whole thing and ran the whole thing back. And it was a great night. It was a really great night.
No, you look stunning. You look so hot. I love the outfit. And there was an article, I think, that quoted you and talked about, and I'd like to kind of just ask you firsthand. It said that you really love shoes. So can you talk to us a little bit about your fashion loves? When you're shopping, what do you really love to wear? Like I'm looking at this fierce jacket that you're wearing. Is it shoes for you? Is it handbags? Is it a nice belt? I mean, I know that you're a girly girl and that you love all fashions, but are there some favorites for you?
Okay, I love shoes because I didn't have shoes when I was little, and I love makeup. And I have so much makeup, and I'm always trying to find something. I can never find it because there's too much. And I love, what else do I love? I love stockings. I love fishnet stockings.
Ooh.
And high heels. And I kind of, I'm a girl. I kind of like it all. And there's just, if I had to pick two things, I would pick a short skirt and fishnet stockings.
That's what I'm talking about, Cher. I've got to get me some fishnet stockings. I could probably work those.
You know what? I think women can work fishnets. I'm telling you.
Okay.
You have to take it from me. They work. Men love them.
Listen, if it's from you, we're on it. I think tomorrow we're all going to be going out and getting us some. We've sold, by the way, over 1,300 of these. They're going. They're very popular. If you're just tuning in, of course, we're having a great conversation with the one and only Cher. And I love that you get to travel along the journey of 4 decades of Cher with her Eau de Parfum set. You're getting 4 different fragrances. So you're receiving the 60s couture, the 70s couture, the 80s couture, and the 90s couture. And this specialty gift box, and you can see any Cher lovers that are out there. My good friend, Cher, Bill Green, has met you, has photographs of you, he's gone to concerts. He is the biggest Cher fan. When I told him I was going to be working with you, he was over the moon. I wanted him to be here tonight just to kind of share in this special moment, but he actually had to travel to Toronto. So I wanted to be sure to give him a quick shout out because he is the biggest Cher fan that I know. And I just love that. And we all love you. You know, I saw you recently do a collaboration with MAC Makeup, with, is it Sweetie? You just connect on so many different levels. You were one of the first celebrities ever to go to the Met Gala and have these big moments. When I look at a lot of the celebrities today, a lot of us, at least for me, I'm thinking, okay, wow, this is what they do. You were doing that a long time ago with your beautiful Bob Mackie gowns and dresses. What was that like? I mean, and having those moments and working with Bob Mackie.
Well, we loved each other from the first time that we met. You know, I was in a changing room, in a fashion room, and he came in, and in came this boy, like beautiful, beautiful boy with curly blonde hair and beautiful suntan. And I said, my God, you're much younger than I thought you would be. And he said, and you're much thinner. I was so excited. So that was like, we go back to now, just talking about things, and he makes my costumes. And when I go back out on the road, he'll make my costumes. So it was really exciting for me because, somehow I became a flat-chested sex symbol.
Yes, indeed, honey. And still to this day, I mean, you look gorgeous. What's next for you, Cher? What are you up to these days?
Pardon?
What's next for you? What projects are you working on now? I know that you're always busy, so what's next for you?
Okay, so I'm working on a book, and I'm also, well, not me, but I'm working on helping this movie that they're going to do about my life.
Oh gosh, that's gonna be great.
I didn't think it would be so long. I didn't think my life would be so long because they find it's a hard thing to do because I've done so many things.
Yes.
And so it's a lot of work.
Well, we can't wait. We're here for it. I want to thank you so very much for being